This is why if you open People Magazine's Sexiest Man Alive, on almost every page, along with a flexed bicep, are flexed lids. And that is because women find a flexed lid, so attractive. So attractive.
So an open lid is not sexy.
No, is it sexy?
A flexed lid is.
No, yes, because why? Women and men both want partners who are deeply scrutinizing, who are deeply looking at them. So if I'm sitting when talking to you and I go, oh, really? I just showed you, wow, that was super interesting. In fact, when we flex our lids, we're going from just listening to thinking deeply.
Interesting.
We're literally trying to see something better. So if you're in a negotiation or on a date or with a friend and they go, really? And they harden their lower lids, you are like, ooh, ding, ding, I just hit something good. And so the other way that we control cues is, okay, let's say that and this actually happened to me, so this is a story I share in the book. I was in a meeting with a very high-powered exec team, and if the presentation went well, they were gonna invite me back for more presentations. So the stakes were very high, and it was a small group, and I was in a particular part of my presentation talking about chemicals. And I noticed an executive across the room flex his lower lids at me, kind of flex his lower lids. He's looking at the slide and I was like, okay, what's happening? He just went from listening to scrutinizing. And so I paused with a small group and I said, all good? Any questions? And I literally looked right at him and I opened up my palms and I said, any questions? So this is the universal signal for openness. It literally means I want to receive.
I'll share anything you want.
Yes, yeah. It's literally like, let me receive, let me be open to you. And he went, yeah. I do have a question. And at the time I was teaching about oxytocin. Oxytocin, I know you talk about it a lot on the show, the chemical of connection and bonding. He goes, I don't understand something. Isn't oxytocin what they give women to induce labor? And I'm like, you are right, sir. They do give oxytocin, and that's because it's so powerful that it can induce labor.
Interesting.
But in our position, it's for social bonding. It was such a good teaching moment because he immediately felt heard. And I know that if I hadn't addressed that concern right then and there, I would have lost him. Mm-hmm. He would have been like, what? He would have been stuck on that one slide. And afterwards, he said to me, I really feel like you were teaching to us.
Teaching to me.
Literally teaching to him. And so I think the other way that we can control the cues is we spot it and then we say, how can I honor it? Like that's the gift that we can give people is yes. I can be sitting with someone and say, I want to listen to you so deeply. I want to listen to your words. I want to watch your facial expressions. Yeah. I want to listen to your nonverbal. I want to even listen to your voice tone. I mean, we haven't even talked about vocal power, which here is incredibly important. And not only do I want to spot that, I want to respond in the way that you feel the most heard by me. So it's spotting and honoring.
And by doing that, if you're in a presentation, whether you actually acknowledge the person or not, are you just saying that it'll bring you back to a more centered place so you can continue on the presentation?
Exactly. It makes you feel in control of the narrative. Gotcha. It makes you feel in control of, and like even for introverts, right? Like introverts, it's much harder for us to share a lot of verbal content. So for us, I want to give you more control over the nonverbal so that when you do speak, it's more powerful, right? So if you're an introvert and you want to make sure you are reading the room really quickly so you know exactly when to say your point so it's most heard and most valued, that gives you confidence because you're not guessing.
Yes.
I don't like the guesswork.
No, I don't either.
I know.
You see a lot of these videos online talking about how charismatic someone is based on the way they smile, their eyes, the tilt of the chin, or all these different things. Is it valuable and more important to be charismatic versus less charismatic? Less...
To the point.
Yeah,
credible.
To the point or neutral energy. I mean, what's more valuable in society in accomplishing goals and getting what you want? Okay. Very charismatic or neutral?
Neutral. Okay, so this is the biggest mistake I think facing really, really smart people. I think really, really smart people, and this is most of my students, they're like off the charts, smart, creative, brilliant. They make the mistake of thinking, if I have enough book smarts, if I have enough technology smarts, I don't need the people smarts. Now, here's what research from Princeton University found.
I'm so excited for this.
Yeah, okay.
Because I already know what you're going to say in a sense, yeah.
Okay, so this study completely changed my work and changed my life. It was done by Dr. Susan Fisk in 2002, and since then they've been able to replicate it and build on it and build on it. So this is very solid research. What she found, very highly charismatic people have to have the perfect blend of two traits. And this is where it's really, this is why highly charismatic people are so unique. And this is why we love them so much. To be highly charismatic, to be compelling, to be captivating, you must have a perfect blend of warmth and competence. And we talked about this the very, very first time we met, but since then, so much more has come out about it. Very, very smart people make the mistake of showing up as all competent. They try to blow you away with their numbers and their facts and their stats and their data, but they're seen as cold.
Yeah.
They're seen as intimidating. On the other side, you have people who are highly warm. They have competence, but there's not a balance. They show up as highly likable, highly friendly, but they're interrupted. They're told that they're not being taken seriously.
They're not credible.
Right.
Yeah.
People forget having met them before. And so I think that most people problems, I'm even going to say all people problems. I mean, all people problems stem from an imbalance between your warmth and competence. And so not only do I think that charisma is essential for being successful, I actually think it's the only way that people will be open to your competence.
So you could be all the book smarts in the world.
Yeah.
You could have the highest IQ and remember everything on any test, or you could be an encyclopedia of wisdom and information. But what I'm hearing you say, if you don't have charisma, at least some of it, then people won't take you seriously, or they won't care as much, or they won't be as engaged.
It's not just engaged. There's two questions that humans ask themselves about the person they're with. And this happens immediately in every interaction. By the way, video too. We forget that this is not just in person. This is happening the moment you pop on video. It's happening the moment someone opens your LinkedIn profile. I did a whole bunch of research on LinkedIn profiles specifically because that's where a lot of our first impressions are happening. Okay, when people see your LinkedIn profile, when people see you on video, on Zoom, the first question they ask themselves, and it is chronological, the first question they ask is, can I trust you? Basic instinct, are you going to be my ally or my enemy? Can I trust you? The very second question they ask is, can I rely on you? So when you're in a meeting, on a date, in a call, in a pitch, a negotiation, on LinkedIn, the two signals that you want to cue people with as quickly as possible is, yes, you can trust me, and yes, you can rely on me. The problem is that most professionals right now are going mute. So I don't know if you've noticed this, but it feels like in the last 5 or 10 years, we've gone towards ambivalence. You know, we've gone towards, I'm not going to show anything. I'm going to be as professional and sterile as possible. And so we've taken out cues from all these assets, and then people have a really hard time trusting us. They have a really hard time listening to us. We wonder why people are slow to reply to our emails. It's because we're not cueing enough. We have to have hundreds of cues to answer those two questions.
Interesting.
Thank you for watching this video. If you want more inspiring clips like this, make sure to click right here to subscribe and click right here to watch that next video that is specific to support you in your life.